Consciousness is described as the state of being aware and responsive to one's surroundings. Hence, this stream of stimulus passes through several filters before we even have conscious perception of it. Micro adjustments happen, starting at the sensory organs all the way to the brain. Even naturally, the image we are processing in real time enters the eyes upside down, and your brain intuitively flips the image. Even peer-to-peer, using the same organs, our perceptions can be skewed by genetically and experience-adapted dissimilar organs and brains. Two people can stare at an orange, and they can tell the other affirmatively that the color of the fruit is orange. No understanding or insight can be shared as to what the color they are witnessing is and whether it is the same to others. Our greatest way to understand one another is empathy, which works on a lot of anecdotal evidence from your own experiences. At current technological levels, it is impossible to experience truly what someone thinks and feels without relating it to a rough-fit experience you have had. Similarly, people can relay a series of events that mirror each other's, but have a completely different interpretation. A house party of 50 people is had. All are interviewed after. All went to the same event, but there is a spectrum of enjoyment. Events are not funneled directly. They are warped from our own consciousness. Even when relaying our memories, there is new evidence to suggest that our memories are also subject to neural plasticity. Neural plasticity refers to the capacity of the nervous system to modify itself functionally and structurally in response to experience and injury. A happy birthday as a child, when remembered, can focus on how confetti was set off, which caused you a sense of surprise and fear that overwhelmed you, as opposed to how you had previously viewed the day in a more positive light, having enjoyed your loved ones all around you. Constant strengthening of these pathways can lead to different associations with events, but we still cling to the validity of them. In day-to-day life, it is exceedingly rare that an emotion would not be attached to a thought. Apart from menial tasks or maintenance, emotions straddle every spontaneous thought we have, blurring logical and fundamental interpretations. How can we trust our own thoughts if they deceive us, tainting all events with feeling? Overreaction is easily witnessed, but when you are the one overreacting, it is impossible to fathom how you are. It is only later, once feelings subside, you may turn to be introspective and realize your reaction was too much for the situation. Stoicism is a philosophy founded in Athens in 300 BC, which ponders that we do not react to events, but more so our judgment of them, and the judgments are up to us. Following on, a famous Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." What is meant by this is that, for instance, someone dying is neither happy nor sad. It is merely an event that has taken place. Only by societal norms and emotional attachments to that person is the affair described as it is. Emotion is a purely conscious way of perception, and nature and the universe does not adhere to this. We rely so heavily on our arrogant protagonist stance that our emotional and conscious response was what happened, as it is sometimes impossible to understand how someone could have viewed it differently, as the perception is our perception. Reality exists as I perceive it. Humbling and disconcerting is the fact that your thoughts and opinions can sometimes only be true to you. We deny our animalistic tendencies and grip our consciousness as the reason for our special place in the universal drama. But fueling us are still the basic instincts to quell hunger, procreate, and survive. Cynical societal recluses grow steadfast that their thoughts are unlike anyone else's and that they are ostracized for them. Hence, statistically, of all the 100 billion people, 8 billion still living, experiencing millennia of consciousness, realistically, most thoughts on experience, meaning, sadness, happiness, and everything in between has at least momentarily been thought about. In the same way, an infinite number of monkeys on an infinite number of typewriters, given an infinite amount of time, could write the complete works of Shakespeare. Furthermore, being products of our environment, bound by our genetic predisposition, very rarely are we alone in thoughts on larger matters, even if they are an uncommon one. Even if we feel like our view is a new take, we have usually plucked them from family, books read, and school. We read about great minds, criticizing and absorbing, but rarely synthesizing our own. As society moves forward, we are becoming increasingly vegetative, funneled what to read and how to perceive it. A simple thought experiment. Describe a monster with no already known shapes, colors, or organs. You cannot. We are bound by a fundamental knowledge of what we have been told and can only explore between these lines. In the same way, self-declared rebels, mavericks, and outlaws feel their way of life is different from the rest, but still subscribe and partake in the group of other people that describe themselves this way. How unique really are we? Movies, TV shows, songs, and poems are repeated with slight alterations on events, but the bare bones remains the same: death, love, and war. Regardless of your religion or faith, we all have to agree that we at some point all came from a singular place, whether that be evolving from bacterium or whether that be from Adam and Eve. Meaning, the same heart pumps the same blood and the same neurons fire to give us our thoughts in everyone around you. The sporadic nature of thought, and limited by our potential biological equipment, no one is unique. As bad of a day as you are having, someone, somewhere, is having an equally bad day. Someone, somewhere, may be having an oppositely extremely good day, but tomorrow, they are the one having a dreadful day, and you are the one having a good day. I mean to say, life is full of difficulties. Emotions are ever-changing, but do not let them rule you. A difficult day is only a difficult day when comparing to all the pleasant days. A difficult day to you may be a perfectly normal day for someone else. Reserve your emotions. Do not get wound up in them. Even if a perception has been agreed upon in your head, and time and further thought has validated these, even the most profound philosophical thinkers could die realizing their ideas were all subjective. So then what? Do we just stop thinking? Is consciousness a burden? No. Consciousness is still our greatest blessing, and though our perceptions can be tainted, they are still your perceptions. But be humble. Display humility when your perception is under threat, as you may come to realize the fluidity of it. Mark Twain writes, "I have had a lot of worries in my life, most which never happened." Take events as they are, and do not just live in your consciousness, for it may begin to rule you.